how do you see this? Do you think the international community has come on board very promptly?
I don't think so. What I think is the fundamental cause of what is happening in Somalia today is the failure of politics by the Somalis and also by the international community. What we see today is the absence of any clear policy towards Somalia by the international community, and also by the failure of the successive Somali government and Somali elites towards the reconstitution of effective government in Somalia. I think that is the fundamental problem that need to be focused by every person who is today covering this crisis.
Now, talking about the fundamental root causes, Abdullahi, we know, of course, that there is a man that is called Dictator Siad Barre, a man who, of course, is long dead. And yet, when you look at the time when he was in charge, especially during the 70s, really, Somalia, in fact, was known to be like carrying out some sort of green revolution. It was able to feed itself and probably even export food to neighboring countries. What happened?
I think what we need to understand is when Siad Barre was ruling Somalia, there was a state. Of course, that state was not a democratic state. It was an authoritarian state, but still it was a state that could deliver some kind of project to its people. What we are now experiencing is a unique case, which is collapsed state. 20 years, a country of no government at all, no institution, a government, a country where people live in the nature. People don't have any rules at all. It's a place where everything is based on kinship, extremism, violence, and there is nothing at all. And I think this is the real problem. And I think what also the international community, especially the United States policy towards Somalia, was not counterproductive. Once it was containment policy, the other time it was just war on terror, and this is the real problem in Somalia, I think. What is needed today, I think, is the international community to look and to reverse its policy and to review what's happening in Somalia. This is what we are seeing is a humanitarian catastrophe. And I don't think anyone can do anything unless the Somali people recognize that what this is something they have to do about it, and also the international community also to recognize this is a humanitarian catastrophe, and in my opinion, even if humanitarian intervention is needed, this is the case that has to be done, I think.
Talking about a government, we do have, of course, a government in place, the Transitional Federal Government of Somalia, which is supported by the international community. Is there any evidence, frankly, if you were to talk from the deepest, better part of the bottom of your Somali heart and soul, is there any hard evidence on the ground that that government enjoys the support or the legitimacy of the people in Somalia?
I think this is where the problem lies. I think the problem is this government, of course, majority of Somali people today, they're not against this government because the opposite side is Al-Shabaab, which they cannot condone at all. But the real problem is legitimacy. That is the most important thing. Where can we get a legitimate government? And a legitimate government should be a government that is representative of the mental model of reality of the Somali people. And I think this is where the problem lies. And what is lacking now, what we are lacking now is effective Somali institutions, effective Somali political parties that can talk about the plight of their people. What we have here is only two extremist ideologies that are now prevalent in Somalia. The clannish, which is very inward-looking, and violence extremism. What we need today is a Somali people who can talk for their country, and we need the international community to stand up and support these Somalis today.
Ambassador Sheen, is it possible that both the United States and the